Now we are. We are live. It's Friday afternoon in a bit of a messy ATL Friday. Little rain, little thunder, little stuff like that. But that ain't gonna let us be stopped because we're here. And who are you again? I always forget you, but who are you?
John Colder Ice Lawson.
Hmm, that was nice and short.
Easy.
I'm Brent Leary. That's easy. Give the people what they want.
Keeping things in order.
That's my motto. Give the people what they want. All right. It is Friday the 24th. Still hard to believe we're damn near coming up into the second half. Well, we already are in the second half, aren't we?
Yep.
Damn, that's even harder. That means like my little respite from travel. I still got a little over a month. So I'm going to enjoy that time staying away from any airport, any flight I can possibly dodge at this point. So, what's new with you?
Nothing, man. Nothing.
Come on, man. You nothing. Everything happens because with AI. Everything happens like in minutes. New stuff every minute.
Yeah, it does. And of course, there's a new model out.
The Fable thing or whatever they call it.
Oh no, actually, they just beat Fable on a lot of
Oh yeah, I just saw that. It's not
yeah,
Fable. It's Opus.
Opus 5. Opus 5 is here, and
Well,
it's half the price of Fable, and it beats Fable. It's faster. It's here we are.
So why? I mean, what's the sense for all these things coming out so quick? I mean, they come out so quick. You don't even know how good the one is before the new one comes out.
Well, I mean, that's what had been projected. That's what it feels like when you have, what's that curve? What's the curve?
L curve.
No, the I don't know. I'll figure it out in a minute. But anyway, it's a curve that goes.
You talk about Moore's law.
No, it's not a law. It's just a curve.
We got curves. We got laws. I mean, got tariffs. Jesus, hard to keep up with all this stuff.
But the rapid pace is only going to get even
faster,
more rapid.
Faster. Let me ask you, because you are one that keeps up with as much of this as possible.
Yeah.
I didn't say everything. I think you do a good job with trying to keep up with this stuff as it's happening. Let's put it like that. Do you find it difficult to really understand all the stuff you're trying to keep up with?
No, because I am very focused on keeping up with things that make a difference in my universe. That's what I try to keep up with.
And your universe is really concentrating on what these days?
It's really concentrated on what's going on with Anthropic and Claude. That's it. I've narrowed down my focus to that area mostly.
So you don't really focus. How much? All right. So if you had to like break it down, like how much time do you spend on Anthropic world? How much time do you spend on OpenAI world and whatever? Just break it down. How do you go about?
So I mean, I watch different channels on both YouTube and X to just see what these folks are saying. So that can pretty much keep me up on the scope of all of it. But when it comes down to use and application, I use OpenAI almost zero. I use it for making images, but other than that, I don't use it pretty much at all. And then that makes me pretty much 98% focused on Claude.
So you don't bother about the others that are out there, like the Geminis or the Perplexities or whatever's going on at Microsoft. Uh,
No, no. I mean, I've made my choice, and that's my
so,
choice.
so you're
And
riding with Anthropic.
I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, yes, I'm riding with Anthropic.
You just like keep a eye open for and like all the other stuff that isn't Anthropic centric, just to kind of know what else is going on.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I keep up with influencers and experts on all of AI world, but when it comes to implementation, I'm sticking really deep with Anthropic and Claude.
A year ago this time, were you what?
I
How was
was
it?
I was probably 70-30.
70-30 Claude?
Yeah,
2 years ago.
I was probably 100%. I guess close. I don't. I was probably okay. Flip that the other way around. I was probably that.
70-30 open AI 2 years ago.
Yeah. 70-30 open AI.
So in 2 years, you completely just 180-degree turn.
Yeah, absolutely. You
What?
know,
Why? What was the big reason for that?
well, I mean, there was a clear differentiation between application um, that you could do with um, Claude when they came out with Cowork and the desktop version, you know, and that just sold me.
And
And
Claude Code, I guess.
well, not Code. I don't use Code that often. I
Oh,
use
okay.
it every once in a while, but
So
you
mostly
know,
co-work.
yeah. But here's the thing: the models are the same on the backside. That difference between code and co-work is very minor.
It's almost like one and the same. I hear a lot of people say they really use them both together, not one instead of the other.
Yeah, I mean, and I hardly ever use code, and because I'm hardly ever like coding, I might one shot and vibe code something, but I'm not going back and tweaking it, and I'm not trying to build something that's public facing and ready to go out. So I don't need all of the flexibility that code gives you. I'm fine with the restraints of co-work to getting it done and ready to launch at least internally or for the
Yeah.
team.
So all you're doing is aimed at internal. You're not doing any of this to sell externally. You're doing it to kind
Right.
of do what you need to do, help you do what you need to do, basically.
Exactly. So
Yeah, it makes
co-work
sense.
kills me.
That's
It's
your jam.
That is my jam, dude. I spend a lot of my time in co-work. Yeah. And it's amazing how much different my life is from where it was when I was a open AI guy.
You were never a co-pilot guy, right?
No, I wasn't a co-pilot guy. I mean, I just don't have Microsoft tools in general. You know, um, I, at one point, I do remember when I was thinking about where I was going to really land. I was saying I was going to land with Google.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm curious. Like Gemini has come a long way, but you're definitely a hardcore co-work guy.
well, I mean, Gemini still doesn't have a desktop version. That's you
It's
know,
coming. It's
it's
coming.
coming. I
Yeah.
mean, the deal is once you let something out into the world, people duplicate it. So, OpenAI's work is a copy of co-work, but you just look at who's the leader. They're the ones leading. Everybody else is duplicating and copying at this point. Now,
So
I'm not now, and that's not. I do want to say
Yeah.
Gemini is doing some amazing stuff, especially in the video space,
That's what I use it for mostly. Yeah.
image space, you know. So they're kind of leading that. And but OpenAI came out with their version afterwards. So they copied this and made it better. I mean, but what um, Anthropic does, in my opinion, is so uniquely um, moving the ball forward that I'm just like, hey, I want to stick with these guys, see what they're doing, because I think they're leading the charge right now.
Do you think it's too early to pick a winner, or it's time to pick a winner?
Nah, it's too early.
So even though you're into it right now, a couple of years from here, it could be a whole other different story.
Well, I mean, it would take a lot. It would take a lot because it was painful to move from OpenAI to Anthropic. And once I put my stakes in the ground for, I'm a Claude guy, it's going to be hard to get me out of this mode because I got to move all of my processes and workflows and the way I think. And oh, I know this button right here. Here's what you need to do. This is the command I need to pull up my skills. Here's where all my, all of that stuff. It's not easy to just flip back and forth. That's why I'll tell you one thing. Well, I'm not going to say.
Oh, what?
Well, I mean, if people, when people are flip floppers, then I understand that you really don't know what the deep ins and outs are of a tool because you're flipping back and forth. There's no way, So you got all these AI bros, and every day there's something new, and they're going crazy. Oh my god! Look! Oh my god! It's the great, And I'm like,
Well, this is going to get me in trouble, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're about to get us in trouble.
I mean, if there are AI bros,
just keep it at bro. If you leave the bro X off of it, then nobody can make
the jump to what might be. What was that? There was a saying back in the day, bros before something. I can't remember.
Yeah, you can't.
I can't remember.
You cannot. Right. That's disrespectful.
That is very disrespectful. We need to leave the disrespect behind.
But what were you going to say?
No, I'm not saying it.
Oh, okay.
You trying to get me in trouble? Shit.
No. Okay, I thought you were going to say. So, but I mean, here's the thing: it's the audience that they're appealing to. That audience are full of people that really are looking for the shortcut, and they'll never be satisfied.
Isn't everybody? I mean, no, I shouldn't say everybody. The vast majority of people are always looking for the shortcut, though. I mean, and whatever, not just in this context, but in most.
Yeah, and I mean that's that audience. I'm not in that audience. I'm not. That doesn't appeal to me. I don't want to just know. Hey, look, there's a new.
Yeah, in other words, you don't just want to be the mile wide, knee deep.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm a very deep person. It took me years to move from eBay to Amazon. Years. Even though I was one of the first they made an offer to come on their platform. It took me another 4 years before I took that platform seriously. And it was kicking and screaming, trust me.
But it only took you a couple of years to move from OpenAI to Anthropic.
Right, but that's because of that curve that I can't remember the name of. But it's the development curve, and I can't remember when you hit this. Oh my gosh, I cannot. But it's it becomes accelerated over and over and over again.
But what if just playing a little devil's advocate here? What if? No, you're completely right now in the Anthropic world, loving it over there. But what if OpenAI or Gemini or something else says, you know what, we've we've cracked the code on some of this in terms of um, we can lower our computation, so that means we can lower our prices, and we can let people have the $200 a month, what would normally cost you 200 a month on Anthropic. We can give you even more capabilities, functionality, processing power at half the price. Would that be enough for you to switch?
Probably not.
Mhm.
Because of the competition itself. And we know how competition goes. Once that happens, then the entire market starts falling apart, and it becomes a race to the bottom. So, I mean, they're going to have to respond to the competition, because if everybody jumps, that's where we are, or that's what we had happen with OpenAI. OpenAI was actually keeping back a lot of their models, uh, and waiting to release them. And then, you know, Anthropic did what they did, and released a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they threw it all out at once. It felt
They
like.
all threw it, yeah. And it's like, oh, we got to let our stuff go. We got to catch up. So, I mean, competition will uh, handle that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was exponential growth curve. Couldn't remember that
Oh, okay.
exponential for nothing.
When it goes like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
exactly. And remember, we used to talk about that 2 years ago, you
Yeah.
know, and now we're in it. And so every 6 weeks, a new model's coming out.
Some of those models are coming out from China.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what I was going to say to what you just said, is like China put out a model. Kimi K3 is 1/5 the price of Anthropic's um, model, or up until today, their big model, which was Fable. Um, and, that's not enough for me to necessarily run and jump and put that, build a
One
platform.
fifth. Okay.
1/5
One fifth the cost.
of Fable. Fable's pretty expensive. Don't get me wrong. It's very expensive.
Yeah, and that new one that just came out, Opus.
That's half of Fable.
Oh, they I got it something in the email from Anthropic about some changes that they're making to how they price Fable.
Yeah, yeah, they got to, because of competition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. There's
Well,
this, well, I'm just
what
this.
you
There's this. We just heard from the resident that he's putting tariffs on stuff around technology, and I think this China thing has the potential to be a big hand grenade thrown in. Um, why? What do you think about trying to keep China from being able to buy stuff or to use stuff, all in attempts to keep the edge that you think you have in AI? Do you think that's a good strategy, long term strategy for American AI hegemony to
you
stay
know,
with them?
I like the old America. You
What's the
know,
old America?
the old America was freedom. This new thing that they're putting in, I don't understand it. It doesn't, we were kind of like the land of the free, where everybody else would have all these restraints. You'd go to America because you could, and now here we are, and suddenly we're trying to keep our technology away or their technology away from our people, it's man, this is not the America of the past,
It
and I
feels
think it's
like,
very dangerous.
are we afraid all of a sudden? Are we afraid to compete? Are we afraid to be out innovated, or is it a fear of China undercutting because they have usually have no regulations and they're government sponsored for everything? And the fear is even if we out innovate, they can still beat us because they can undercut and cheat.
Well, I mean, the thing is, that's capitalism, isn't it? You're supposed to work inside of that restraint and win and still win. How are you going to be the best when you are cutting off all, let me just put it like this. Your team, right? Um,
Yes, Mike.
Part of the reason why LA is a top-notch team is because the conference they're in is a top-notch conference. The competition makes you better.
You mean competition?
Yeah, the competition makes you better. I don't know what I said. It
You
might
said
be.
the petition. I'm like, who's petitioning?
Okay. The competition makes you better. Now, if you were in a low lying, well, I can't say. Shut up.
I'm not saying a thing.
But competition makes you better, bro. When you cut the competition off, what incentive do you have to get better? A, and what are how can you even measure it? I don't understand this whole concept of let's do that to AI.
Well,
And
I,
and here's the other problem. You've got businesses that are using this technology that's cheaper to build a better business and actually have more profits. It's a bad move in my opinion.
when you think of like some of the biggest world, worldwide competitions at the national level, not just the individual companies, but competing against each other, but like the race to build the bomb, the race to be the first to go in space, even some of the race to
Yeah.
own kind of the internet, whatever. Um, when it was like the U.S. versus like Germany or the U.S. versus Russia,
Yeah.
I don't recall, and maybe I'm not sure this is or wasn't the case. I don't recall like talk about, well, you can only sell to companies in countries or countries that aren't competing with us for stuff. I don't recall that. It could have been like maybe we cut off selling everything to companies or countries that were in competition with us for one thing. I don't recall hearing about that. Maybe there is something in that, but it always felt like the race. It was an actual race to get to the end quicker than somebody else, not to cut somebody off before they could get ahead of us, but to do what we had to do, to get there. And that
Yeah.
feels like that seems to be the way our country has operated up until kind of potentially now.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong. Of course, there's secrets. You can't have
Yeah,
all your secrets out, and I get that.
yeah,
But just like you said, cutting off all the models from China, it's just like what? Now you don't have any access to what they're doing. So
right.
you're cutting off the thing that would actually make us be able to adequately compete and beat those others. This is just ridiculous, man.
Well, that's why we welcome going back to the World War II, the race for the bomb. We welcome in all those German physicists and chemists
Right.
because they had some knowledge that we didn't, and we needed in order to win this race.
Yeah, that's another thing you're going to end up doing too, is you're going to probably end up having people leave American companies and going off to, Chinese companies because they're going to pay them better.
Actually, there's a lot of that already going on, like
I
with
know.
this immigration stuff, and a lot of folks from China that would typically come here to learn and educate. China
Yeah, or not.
is yeah, China is building out relationships with other countries to help with that, help
Stupid.
build the knowledge base up outside of the U.S.
10
And it
years from now, we're going to talk about this.
yeah, it really feels like this AI trying to keep other countries from learning so that we can stay ahead instead of doing whatever we can to stay ahead. That's a shift in how we operate, and I don't think it's
Isn't it?
a
It's
positive shift.
at the core.
We used to be the ones that we would just work harder and smarter until we, like, when Russia came, when Sputnik went into orbit back in like 1959, and then NASA was basically born because of that, because of the fear of Russia being ahead of us in space technology. And 1963 was when Kennedy said we are going to get to space by the end of this decade. You don't say that if you don't actually do things to get there, not to stop Russia from getting there, but to beat Russia there.
Yeah.
That was the way we operated up until now, it feels like.
It's almost like pretending like we're not keeping up. So if a space vehicle is released from Russia, we're going to pretend like it didn't happen, and that's going to keep
Yeah,
us.
what good does that do in the
What
real
is
world?
that? What good is that?
So that's why I say this is just so, it feels a bit un-American to just think about how can we keep others from getting ahead of us, as opposed to just doing what we need to do to get to the destination, not keep others behind us. I mean, you got to do, I guess, a little of that, but the focus should be on getting to the moon, like Kennedy. We will get to the moon, not keep everybody else from getting there before us.
Right.
That's not what he said. He said we will get there by the end of the decade.
Well, this is what happens when you have losers as leaders.
Ooh. But it's not just on the losers in office. It's on the companies that are lobbying for some of this stuff to take place, or the lobbying for lack of regulation. It
You
feels
think
like
you
they're
think there's a
trying.
lot of lobbying for this to
Oh
take place?
yeah, well, I think there's lobbying in terms of keeping regulation low.
Yeah, absolutely.
That allows them to
They want
operate
to
more
keep that.
freely.
Absolutely.
They want to operate more freely, and I do think there might be a little guidance from these huge technology companies that are based here to kind of push in the direction of, hey, you need to keep certain things here, or you need to allow us to do stuff with certain companies. So I think there's some guidance that they would like to throw in there. But
Yeah,
I think America is not at its best when it's
right.
not at thinking about innovation, about meeting the goal, not keeping others from meeting that goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think this is America at its best kind of methodology.
How did we get here? How did we get? And when I'm talking about this, just in the context of the AI discussion, um,
Um,
I know China is
I
is
mean,
is a big.
because I really think there was a lot of hype that was being fueled and fed to us, right? Um,
Hmm.
like we had talked about on our show earlier today about, 2 years ago, or when, ChatGPT 4 came out, it was like, well, we've got a 2-year lead ahead of China. and and that we were going to be the winner of the AI race, and nobody had the idea or the audacity to think that there would be a deep seek when we had chips that were not available to those developers. So we thought it was all the chips, and they found a way around the chip.
Could it also be, as I think about this a little bit, um, I think going back to this space race is a pretty interesting one.
Yeah, I think that's
Because
technology.
yeah, because that ended up being a countrywide goal. Like everybody seemed to be on board about. Maybe everybody was afraid what would happen if the Russians got to the moon or whatever before we did. But whatever the case, it felt like all of us were pointing in that direction, not just individual companies or whatever. And once again, NASA was a government organization leading the charge. Our national government is definitely not leading the charge when it comes to AI.
Yeah, that's all about.
Yeah. It's like a handful of companies.
Yeah, it's definitely not a national, but I mean that comes from leadership.
And I also think the goal of reaching the moon is something that everybody could understand. Like that's a goal. Getting to the moon. We know what that means success, getting there.
Yeah. I want to get to the moon. We're going to get to the moon first.
Is there any universal goal or objective regarding AI right now? Is there one?
I mean, it's just not. It's not that simple.
Right.
So I mean, when you can, all of the technology that it takes to get to the moon, none of us understood that technology. But if you can just say we want to be the first to land on the moon, you can an average.
That's easy for the average person to understand.
For the average person to So when we talk about singularity of artificial intelligence, what does that mean? What are you talking about?
Yeah, and there's so many little avenues you can go down when it comes to AI. People are acting like AI. I'm not, like, generally speaking, people are acting like AI is some brand new stuff. This stuff has been around since the 50s. We're just now, regular people are just now being able to access it and do stuff with it as opposed to having others feed it to us.
Okay.
I think that, when you have at least a little bit of understanding and you know a little bit how it works, or you think you do, that makes you feel like you have a little bit more skin in the game, a little bit more to say. And
yeah, okay. But I mean, generative AI has not been around.
No, but just AI, this artificial intelligence as a thing.
As a thing. Yeah, it's been around. I mean, and we played around with it for years.
Playing around with it, but now it's a daily thing. It's not
right, because it's like you said, it's in the hands of every day. It's interesting.
I just don't think any country government who tries to weigh the scales by trying to restrict certain things, I don't think it's a long-term strategy for success.
No, I don't. And then this like I said, this could be, especially in an exponential world, this one thing could lose it all. We could lose it all.
There's a question that we had at the end of the show this earlier today from one of our buddies, Amber Donald, who said, how much should the regular person kind of be trying to understand this stuff, trying to understand how to use it?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take that much. I mean, the owner's manual is in using it.
I don't even know if it's even if it's the hands-on use. I think you should be trying to at least understand the big picture of what's going on with this. What the data centers fight is about. How is it going to impact like big picture items like employment, like inflation? Like I think regular people have to have some kind of a general understanding of some big picture stuff when it comes to this AI that they really might not have needed back in the day.
Okay, maybe, but I mean, to ask regular people to have a general understanding of anything is a big thing.
It's a big thing, but if we're talking about how AI is basically these companies are firing employees because AI automation agents are going to take over a significant part of what they did. I think they have to find out at least a certain level why that's happening and what it means for them in the long run.
I think everybody should, but will everybody? No.
Well, yeah, I think it was Ivana who said, matter of fact, I think I actually heard this from a vendor. I can't tell you who, but um, small businesses around the globe, when you start talking about AI, a significant percentage of these folks will shut you down. They don't want to hear it because they don't understand it. They don't understand the importance of it. They hear it all the time, and it seems like a bunch of hype. And so for a very significant percentage of particularly small, but it's actually greater than 50% from what I was told. They shut you down before they want to talk about it. And I'm saying that's not the answer to the problem.
No, I mean, you're just going to be overrun. I mean, look, the train is coming. You can hear the horn. You can see the light in the tunnel. Turning your back and pretending like you don't hear it doesn't make the train not run you over. So I definitely think you need to listen to the horn and at least understand how far away the train might be. But one thing, of course, is there's no definitive um, answer or expertise. You know what I'm saying? So that leaves a lot of it up to hype or not the word hype. I don't want to use the word hype, but to conjecture because nobody actually knows.
Yeah, nobody does.
Right? Nobody actually knows. Nobody knows the date and the hour and the time. Nobody really knows. Nobody even knows how close we are to a breakthrough that is going to be the thing that unhinges unemployment or employment. What's the breakthrough that's actually going to bring this to pass? I don't know.
There's so many things and questions that are unanswered, partially because nobody has the answer or nobody wants to share for different reasons, wants to share things that are known, but just not to the general public.
Right.
I find this to be one of the most confounding times of my life, this current environment. There's no way of feeling secure about anything at the moment.
No, you shouldn't feel secure about anything.
No. And things could.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, just because things change so rapidly and viciously and, for lack of a better term, bigly, it could happen overnight. Like
Not
you could
bigly.
be feeling good. You could be
Not
feeling
bigly.
You could be feeling kind of good when you go to bed. And by the time you wake up, more people have died in a war. Gas prices have gone up. Oil prices have gone up, $110. And you thought when you went to bed the night before, things were good. And you wake up.
We had a signed peace agreement.
and it makes you feel like you're constantly getting bombarded with chaos.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
makes it very hard for like the stock market. We all know, generally speaking, it's supposed to go up and down. Over time, the trend is it goes up more than it goes down. That you used to. It's not a straight line up. There's ups and downs. But in the last year, it's like every day.
Every day.
There's just no, and it always seems to be triggered by the resident. I'll just put it out there. He will say something like the tariffs or the way he talks about this war. And as soon as he says something just so outrageous, the markets react. Everything reacts. So it feels like a lot of times it's chaos that is kind of manufactured, because usually what do we say when he says something outrageous or outlandish? Just wait till Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Trump, what is it? Trump backs down
Always
again or something. Oh, yeah, always chickens out. That's something like that.
chickens out.
And it
Yeah,
does
chickens
feel
out.
like that to a certain extent, but it's this manufactured chaos that we have to live through. That it's just very unsettling for the most part.
Yeah. Very
and
unsettling.
and now we got this AI stuff, but by its nature is it's very unsettling because it's so chaotic and nobody knows, or at least we don't feel like anybody knows. So we already have a chaotic person in the office,
Yeah.
and now we have and we've had for the last really since OpenAI came out. Now we have this AI stuff who we don't have a good grasp of what it's going to do to all of us in the long run.
Nope.
So everything is just feels topsy turvy. There's absolutely no way I can imagine most people are going to feel comfortable about most anything at this point.
So yeah. So let's tell you what happened this week.
Okay.
An AI model from OpenAI.
Hmm.
It's not a released AI model. So yeah, I think they're on 5.6. So this might be 6 or 7 that they're testing. And they had it in a closed test environment. Okay. So this test environment has no access anywhere to the internet.
So it's not connected to the internet.
It's not connected to the internet. And it was given the goal of breaking into or to jailbreak another system. Okay, so but this is all inside of a very closed environment, right? Now, one of the things that they were doing is that they had another computer that would introduce some software or something. I don't know what. Again, it's beyond my.
So this other computer
is
connected to the internet.
No, it wasn't actually.
So it is. So both of these computers are not connected to the internet.
Both of these computers are not connected to the internet,
but they're connected to each other.
But no, they're not connected to each other.
They're not connected to each other either. Okay.
Serving something to the other.
Okay, but doesn't that mean there's some kind of connection?
Oh, okay, but I mean they're not connected. You know what I'm saying?
But they're able to speak or communicate between them.
Yeah, because they're computers.
But neither of them are on the internet.
Break outside of this thing. Okay. Now, third computer does have internet access. It's not attached in any way to the
other two
OpenAI model that we've told it to break out. Okay. But this one's connected to the it's got some sort of connection to the middle one. Got it? 3 levels.
Okay.
3 levels, right? Here's the deal. This is the crazy deal. Is that second, the middle model had a day zero, what's it called? It's like an error, or it's a vulnerability.
Okay.
And when it says day zero, that just means that the developer,
They wiped everything out.
right? Nope, never found this ever before.
All right.
This model found it and figured out how to exploit it. So it got that middle model to do its work for it. And that middle model went and took over the other model. And that is how it broke out, because that other model had access to the internet.
Yeah.
Do you know how much intelligence that has to have to do something like that? I mean, it's unfathomable. So so this is what just happened. They thought everything was safe, secure, and it
But
broke out.
it found a way.
It found a way. It found a way. It found a way. Like I said, and the actual developer of the middle model never found any of these vulnerabilities, and it found it and took that over.
How long did it take, by the way?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but it's good thing, But and that's the weird thing too. And I'm still doing reading on things, and a lot of what actually happened is not being, publicized. But the only thing that OpenAI version was supposed to do is just break out, and that's all it did. Once it got over into Hugging Face, it didn't do anything.
Right, but it got there.
But it got there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't told to do anything. So it's like, okay, I did what you told me to do, and I win. But
It is
scary shit.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Like I think I mentioned during our earlier show that I actually did a watch party for the opening keynote for AMD's big conference yesterday. Never even thought about doing that a couple years ago. I'm a CRM CX guy. I don't that's chips and data center stuff. But it's becoming really apparent that you kind of have to know a little bit about the infrastructure side and the chips and how they're being made and what processing can be done, because a lot of these enterprise applications are going to be very much impacted by what these hardware AI hyperscaler folks who use these chips, what they're going to provide. So we decided let's do a watch party and see how much of this we can understand and is relevant to our space, because enterprise applications is one of the driving factors when it comes to business and technology, and all this AI stuff is being driven to affect all this enterprise software. So we were like, okay, let's see, let's hear this. What are they going to say? Oh my God. It was so detailed. She is a brilliant woman. She did, it was a little over 2 hours, and she basically was on stage for about at least an hour and 45 minutes of it. And she was talking about all these different kinds of technologies that they're using and what they're for and how they're going to be used. And then she would bring in the co-founder of Anthropic to talk about what they're doing together, and a couple of people from OpenAI to talk about what they're doing. I'm surprised. I don't think she brought in anybody like from like an Oracle or an AWS. I don't think so. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do that. But anyway, they talked about the enterprise scale They talked about physical AI. They talked about local AI and how they're building chips and servers and data centers for basically every level of compute that AI is impacting. It was way over my head, but just to get a glimpse into what is out there that most people aren't even thinking about hurt my head. and I'm like, okay, they're working at levels that are underground. The application layer stack is way overground, so they're working so far down, and they work with the hyperscalers, and so by the time it gets to the application layer, it's a whole different thing. But I'm glad I spent the time to listen to that, because it did give me a much broader understanding of what's going on and how it's being driven and what companies are doing what at all these different levels. You don't have to go to that length to try to understand it, but I think people do have to learn a bit more than they do right now about what's going on now and what's going to go on in the future. I know everybody's talking about the data centers right now, but this localized AI thing, I think, might have a bigger impact in the long run than the centralized data center stuff will. I don't know if I'm right or not, but it just feels like when the layer gets down to people's phones or creating your own like Mac Studio, a couple of them in your home where you can actually process everything locally and you don't have to pay for the LLM big frontier models, because that's mostly processing you're paying for. But if you could download these models and run them locally, then at least you're gonna burn a lot of power, but you're not gonna be paying the LLM providers anymore.
Yeah, monthly subscription.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think this data center thing that everybody's kind of focused on now, I don't think it's going to be as focused on maybe 2 years from now, because I think there's going to be a lot of local processing going on of this AI stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, that's, and I didn't want to get totally in it earlier, but they're not building those processing centers so that you can, answer your emails with AI. That's not kind of AI that they're developing with that kind of, processing. They're looking at, solving the problems of the world and mathematical, stuff that you and I aren't even into. So, the curing cancers and stuff like that, so it's not just so you and I can process and make cool documents on our computer.
No, it's not. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a price component though. If you're able to, like the little guys, if the little guys don't have to pay $400 or $500, maybe $1,000 a month to one company to use one company's set of models. If you could download that and run it here and save yourself a lot of money.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of money.
Yeah, and the phone thing, like we were saying earlier, that phone thing is.
There's companies paying $100,000 a month in tokens, and they're not that big of a company.
Yeah, and guess what? Those are the same kind of companies that will build their own data center or some localized AI capability to cut that kind of cost down. So that's what I'm saying. Data centers are always going to be with us, but I don't think they're going to be as big an issue in a couple of months, because if you're able to spread out the power consumption across the whole, country, instead of having to have these cities that have all these data centers in it, that will ease a couple. That'll actually be a net good thing for everybody, I believe.
I mean, if I start building a data center today, how long does that take? 3 years, 5 years?
I have no idea. You got to get all sorts of regulations. I guess you'd have to go through
all that
red
stuff.
tape.
I just don't see it. I mean, you're going to need a tenth of it by the time it gets done.
But if you, let's say you have, I'm just throwing out a number, like $10,000. Now I know most people don't have $10,000 to do this, but if you can get yourself a Mac Studio for 10 grand and it allows you to run 90% of the models out there locally, you're going to see a lot of people do it.
Yeah, but and I'm just thinking, I'm going back and thinking,
Yeah.
I mean, when did you ever build a computer?
Yeah, way back in the day.
Okay, what did you build?
I think I built a AMD. I used an AMD motherboard and processor. This was like 2001 ish.
Okay, 2001. That's not too far back. 25
It's
years ago.
yeah, and I think it cost me a total of between 2 and 3 grand.
Okay, that's
But
a
you had to
pretty
buy, and
good machine.
I can't even remember how much memory. It was maybe how much. What was a big amount of memory back in
I don't
2000?
know. That's what I was going to ask you. What was the memory like?
It was, let's put it like this. It was a pretty chunky machine for back then. Right now I got a laptop that has 64 gigs. So we're talking megabytes at that time back then.
All right, I'm asking AI.
Yeah.
What was a good gaming machine, let's say in 2001?
And how much did it cost?
Okay. It's working on it. It's probably, I just did it inside of another chat, so it's probably using way more machine than I needed to do.
The context window.
Yeah. And I was like, so it's like, okay, a gaming PC, a top build in 2001 was an Intel Pentium 4. Wow, that's funny, right? Pentium 4. It's like, let's say 1.5 to 2 gigs. It's got an AMD chip, XP.
2 gigs, really? Gigs?
You
said memory was in the gigs?
No, the Intel, the Pentium 4.
Okay. All right.
1.5 gigahertz.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah. And then it's got a graphic card. That was the hot one for NVIDIA GeForce 3. I remember that. Maybe 256 to 512 meg of RAM.
I say, okay, that's about right.
Which felt like a lot back then.
Definitely.
Machine, it would run a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, let me see. How big was the hard drive?
Maybe a couple hundred megabytes. It wasn't a gig, that's for sure.
Yeah, we didn't have gigs back then. So my point is that even though you thought you were top of the line, so we're talking about building, a MacBook Studio or Mac, whatever those studios now, it's like good enough for now, but the models that'll come out in 2 or 3 years, it won't be able to run.
Well, Apple, and I didn't remember this being the case, but I guess it was a different time and it was a different use case. But apparently, those Mac Pro machines that look like the cheese grater, maybe you used to talk about the cheese grater.
Yeah, I remember the cheese grater.
Apparently, you could get up to 1.5, not gig, 1.5 terabytes of RAM in that machine.
Wow.
And then they stopped making that or updating that machine, and then they didn't make anything that could have that much memory in it. Now they're talking about bringing back a 1.5 terabyte RAM machine for a Mac Studio. That will allow you to run some of the largest models out there locally, because you could store it all in memory. You could have enough memory on your machine to download and install a language model with about 800. I wonder if his power went out, because there's storms in the area. We'll see. We'll give him a little opportunity to come back. Anybody out there, by the way? Oh, looks like he's trying to get back. There he is. What?
That's the one thing I hate about StreamYard. It runs in a browser. I hate
What
that.
happened?
I hit the home button by
Oh,
mistake on the browser window.
mm,
So it went to another website and it kicked me out.
ah. Anyway,
Well,
we're
yeah,
almost at the
but
time.
but the deal is, I mean, ultimately, the more. So here's the deal. You just think about it. Um, what's his name? Elon built his data center, and he built it so big. Remember, we were talking about how fast he built it, how much space it had. Right? It was so big that he can't even use it for his grok right now. That he ended up outsourcing part of it to Anthropic. It's
Wow.
crazy out here in these world.
Wow. Yeah. Anyway, I'm ready for the weekend.
Yay, weekend.
Are you able to like cut it off and then just have fun over the weekend, or are you constantly doing this?
This is fun for me.
Really? All of it?
And you're talking about just, yeah, a lot of it's fun. I'll get an idea and just go. So,
I need to step away from it from every now and again. Just
yeah.
to
What do you do for fun?
well, I mean, I like watching history.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff.
I screw off a lot.
Yeah. And of
Absolutely.
course, sports.
Yeah, absolutely. I watch all them reality TV shows,
Yeah, that trash.
and not all of it is trash.
The Real Housewives.
I'm kind of over the Real Housewives a little bit. They're getting kind of annoying now.
Kind of. Oof.
Well,
All right.
back in the day, it's like I'm teasing.
Are they? I mean, is the what's that big one with the blonde hair? Uh, what was her name? I saw her at the
Nene?
airport. Yeah, Nene Leaks. Is she still around?
She's not still around, but actually, I think she's going to be on a reunion show that they're
Oh,
having
a
coming up.
reunion show.
Yeah, it's been 20 years, bro.
Jesus.
It's been 20 years since the first Housewives franchise
I'm
launched.
surprised you don't go when they're taping these. Don't they have a live studio audience for that?
No, not for what?
For these reunion kind of shows, like
Oh
where
no. No, but they do have like a convention and a conference in Vegas every year. Gets
yeah,
about 20,000 people.
you haven't gone yet.
It's just not my jam, man. I mean, it's a bunch of old
House.
girls. I'm not, no.
Most of those people weren't even married.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you get on one of their shows, you won't be long. I mean, I don't know what the divorce rate is, but it's pretty substantial.
Do they
I mean,
be like fighting at them things? Like, they always have to hold people back from getting in each other's
no,
face.
they don't do that. It doesn't get that bad.
Mm.
I mean, they'll fight, but it's not like they're going to get up out of their chair. That's rare.
Yeah, start pulling off their wigs and hitting each other with
No,
them.
it's not. Hold my earrings kind of a giant.
Hold my weave.
No, it's not that. It's not that bad. Damn. But
Yeah.
I think for me, that's getting kind of old. It's because
I mean, is that still the formula for a lot of that stuff?
I think that's the formula now. It's become such a formula for social media.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like let's just fight. Let's just talk about your mama kind of vibe. That it's not that it doesn't make you stop the car anymore.
You know what? One of the worst things that has happened in recent memory when it comes to social media, the Facebook reel. The stuff that they put up in front of you. Oh.
It all depends on what you are watching.
You watch it once and that's enough.
Yeah, and they'll try to serve you more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll throw all these different. I mean, I don't know. makes me sad a little. Some are really good. Like there's some like there's one I actually do like. It's this lady who has a son who has a terminal illness, and he's like a bit pretty much like a quadriplegic. If he's it's a degenerative disease. I can't even pronounce it, and she has to do basically everything for him. But she and him, they make these videos of her and him, and he's in his chair, and all he can really do is move his head and stuff. But she's doing like a dance off kind of thing. So she's like having fun doing these dance moves, and then she'll point at him, and he'll start like moving his head. And it's good. It's fun because it's a way for her and him to for a few little seconds to not think about what's going on, in the bigger picture, but just to enjoy having fun with each other. And that's it's just cute, right?
Yeah, awesome.
So I really like that. And they pick all sorts of different kinds of songs, and I like that. And there are a couple other ones that I like that are just are fun. Yeah. But man, they throw so many things out there that it's like, why am I seeing this?
Because it's you.
And then you look at them and you look, all right, let me see how many people follow these 2 million followers,
Crazy.
3 million. And these videos are like nothing. They're not doing anything. They're walking around and they make a video and it gets like 50,000 views. I still don't have any clue why that's the case.
Yeah, me either, man. But everybody has their thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, my thing is getting ready to eat. So,
all right.
We will see you next Friday, hopefully. Until then, enjoy the weekend and see you later.
Peace, guys.
Deuces.